So hey guys, Tommy and Heidi here from T&H Automotive. Was Tommy's Automotive Service. That name's taken, so we've changed it. Anyway, you can catch us on our U-Motive Rules channel. We are working on a 2007 BMW 550i. We are replacing the front crankshaft seal. It's also considered a radial seal. It sits in flush with the timing cover. There are a certain amount of stuff that you actually do need to do this job, and several steps. So it is kind of messed up, but here's the actual part number. My engine is an n62. Even though it's an E60 chassis, it is an n62 engine. So this is part number is 11 14 7 647 and then 380, and this is an actual OE seal that we are installing on the front of the car. This is what the seal looks like. Keep it in when it comes. Keep it in its bracket. You do not want to take this out until you're ready to actually install it. You are also going to need flange sealant or flange maker. I went ahead and got the flange sealant from BMW, and then I bought Loctite, and it's Loctite primer, BMW L17 1000 primer. You add this because on the timing cover where this radial seal sits, there are two grooves points. They're open spaces, and I'll show that later. You add primer, add the sealant, add more primer, and then once this is after the seal is flush, you have to let it sit for 24 hours. This is what they call the harmonic balancer for the car. Here is a spacer that has 8 screws, and these are, I believe, HW6s. I don't know I don't remember at the moment, but here's the harmonic balancer. This is how it sits inside of this, and it might be a little hard to see, but you can see an additional hole up there at the top. It's like a little pinhole that sits right on the damper. So we're also going to change out the AC to harmonic balancer belt, and this is original equipment. Also, BMW's Continental belts, and then this is the serpentine belt we're changing out as well. This is some of the stuff that you're going to need. I don't believe you have to drain the oil pan to drain out the oil pan to change the seal. I'm going to put in a whole new oil filter and oil once it's sat for the 24 hours. Right, and the ista. So we've done a lot of research, and other tools that you're going to need for this. Let me grab. Okay, so these are 2 toolkits that you're going to need to do this seal replacement. This is a universal kit, 2-prong, pull the seal out, or whatever size is better, and then you'll use one of these to actually push the seal back in. Now, to find, this is one designed for an n62. And you can see it here. It's an actual timing. Yeah, I think that's the 650. No, it's the N70. I don't remember what the N73 is. And a 650 is an N62 engine, just like a 750. So this kit is considered a timing set. We're not going to do anything with the timing. What we're going to do is we need these tools here. This tool here, this is what the wrench, but it's a counter wrench that literally, let me zoom in a little bit, holds the damper. You screw that in with the screws from the harmonic balancer. You screw this in with this washer here on the edge of on the block, and this holds the actual crankshaft tool or wrench, so you can loosen the center bolt, which is this bolt right here. That bolt has to come off to get this damper off the car, which I'm going to show you on the car. And then when you put everything back, after you replace the seal, put the damper back on, you reinstall this back on here to the block. Here's a screw for the block through here just like this picture shows right here. You screw it back on, and you add the scale, and you add this pointer. Now, I looked this all up on ista and followed their instructions. So ista requires 100 Newton meter torque on that center bolt once it's held, you know, screwed back in and the crankshaft's held. Then it requires a 60-degree torsion angle, meaning that you go another 60 degrees to tighten it. So that's part of it. So this is where we're at right now. We had already, excuse me, removed the, one second, let me readjust this because it won't. Yeah, thank you, Tommy. We have already taken off the front, one of the ductworks right off the front. We just moved that completely out of the way. You have to remove this top piece, which requires these two screws, this screw, which I think are T27s, this one here, these two here, this one here, these two here, and this one here, and this comes up. And now this does attach to your cable holders for your hood. You just lift this up and you move it over. And then there's another plastic piece which I'm going to show you in a minute. But I wanted to show you what this looks like down here. And you can see right there, this prongy thing where the light is. Sorta. Here, thanks. Right where the light is on. Why am I missing it? Hang on, let me get my arm down here. Drop the phone and drop the damn thing. Okay, this is right where the light's shining. That's your damper, right there. And in that center bolt is your crankshaft bolt. There, you can see the pin that sits out of the damper I was talking about. That's where that one plate and the harmonic balancer sit to hold it in place while you screw it back in. You have to remove the coolant fan because you have no room. Like, it's very tight to get in here. But right now, this is where we're at. So what we're going to do is going to take open off the top plate for the coolant fan and do that. And then we're going to attach the timing tool wrench so we can break this center bolt loose and expose the radial seal. Because you can see underneath the damper, it is leaking oil, which also is causing a vacuum leak in my car. Okay, so as you can see, we moved. That's one way of doing things. You see this? The copper line?
Did Bobby did that, or?
I don't know who did that.
That's him bypassing. Not bypassing, but...
That's the return line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's the return line. I'm not really tripping about it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So anyway, as you can see, we took this off, and it just comes, once you take the 10 bolts out, it just comes up and it goes over because you do have the cables to unlatch your hood on this. So you just move it out of the way. Then you want to move this out of the way. And we're going to zip tie it to this here. I got to get a zip tie. And then what you want to do is this is a plastic cover piece. And there's 4 screws to it. One, and then it's 2 screws here and 2 screws here. And those are gone because these are Phillips. And then this cover piece comes off. Then you have access to the actual radiator fan, the coolant fan. And then go from there. You hit the pause. Okay, so over top of, or underneath this plastic here, or this metal here is a plastic, and it's like a cover just to keep debris and shit off the cooler. One thing forgot to mention is you have this oil cooler line here that we kind of stuff paper towel in so it doesn't leak and drip all over the place. Not really keep debris out of it. It actually goes into, that might be a little hard to see. Goes in here. That's a T. You can see the oil right there. Right there is where that connects, and that's a T40. So that just loosens and comes off. There's nothing else holding this coolant fan in place. The circuits, well, you just come over and take the circuit out, and that's right here. It goes there. And then there's supposed to be 5 clips where the return line from the radiator, the hose just clips on to stay, you know, in a snug spot on the bottom of the coolant fan. Those just pop out of those plastic clips, and then you pull the radiator out, like bend it at a right and then wiggle it out. And that's what we're gonna do. I mean, the coolant fan out, excuse me. And that's what we're gonna do next. Okay, guys. What I want to point out at the bottom of the coolant fan, which I forgot about, you can see, if you're looking directly, it's kind of hard to see, but it is way down. If I can get it to focus. Way down here where my finger is, if you can see my finger bouncing, there is another oil cooler line that has to be disconnected, and it requires an HW 3/16 Allen key. It attaches to this line here, and then you'll be able to bring this out, the coolant fan out. Alright guys, we have taken out the coolant fan, as you can see. We are now getting ready to put on the timing wrench or a counterbalancer to hold the crankshaft. And this is what this device is. I showed earlier in the beginning of this video. And how it works is this bolt sits into this, what the BMW calls, I guess, a washer. And this washer is grooved to fit over top of this knob thing here. So it sits, Tommy, we hold the camera, or hold this where I'm at, and it's kind of hard to see, but it sits like this on there, and then the wrench, the car's gonna have to come down a little bit because it's laying on it like this here. I can find the hole. There it is. Whoop. It sits like this here. The bolt sits inside the groove. It doesn't.
Before you tighten it, put that in
But it shouldn't tighten. I don't think it tightens in there. It might. Oh, it does. Okay, so you tighten this down. Yeah, you tighten this down, and you take 4 of the harmonic balancer bolts. These are T40s, and you slide them into the damper. I'll get them started. Okay, why can't I get that started?
Probably have to move it just a little bit.
Okay, I gotta wiggle it a little bit. That rotor plate's gotta go in there.
We're probably going to move the crankshaft a little bit.
It should line up. Let me see something real quick. With a bolt that's on the top. What the fuck?
It's nowhere near it. You You gotta move the crank bolt.
What do you mean you gotta move the crank bolt? Okay, the center bolt on the tamper, or on the crankshaft, is a 1 1/16 size. And what we did was we just moved the crankshaft a little bit to align the outer bolts with the tool wrench. And what we're going to do is we're going to tighten these down. Tighten these down. And these are T40s. And these are the bolts with washers that go for the harmonic balancer. And then we're going to tighten this down. I believe it's a 14. And we're going to make this really snug. And then what we're going to do is we're going to break this loose. This whole design stops the crankshaft from moving. So you can take off the damper. This is what they call the damper. And this is what they call the timing cover, this piece here. And when this comes out, that you'll be able to pull out the seal with the puller, put in the new seal, and make sure the new seal's flush, and put the damper back on. Then put this back together, and what will happen is you'll tighten this back down again, and you'll put the scale here. We'll get there. Okay, just wanted to update this bolt, this nut here that threads into the block. This is a 17 millimeter, where I'm using a 17 millimeter 6-point. And then once that's tight, we're gonna break that loose. Okay, ready? Because it's on. There it is. That's my crankshaft bolt. We got that loose. The breaker bar and additional handle to the jack almost snapped, but Tommy here, he almost took the car off the lift, but there it is. Really still good in good condition. Now what I want to tell you is that when we put this back in to tighten this down, we're going to put Loctite on these threads. That's always something good to do after you've taken apart.
Especially on the crankshaft. This is your pointing bolt.
Yep. And as you can see, bolts out. We're going to just take this off, unscrew this, take this off.
It should come right out.
And the damper will come right out. Alright guys, we finally got it off. And this is the inside of the tamper. And literally, basically I did all the work. I mean, I did wiggle a little bit, but we put 2 in back in here, and he wiggled it out. And I mean, he shook the car bounced a few times, right Tommy?
Like a basketball.
But it is off now, and then you can see right down in there, here is the seal. And you see all the oil at the bottom right there? Thank you, Tommy. There's the seal. So then you use a 2 or 3 prong seal puller and pull it out. So this is where we're at. So here's another
little wrinkle.
Wow. Yeah.
It's dry rotted.
We can safely say that we believe this was original seal from when the car was built.
Mm-hmm.
It came out with a bunch of picks and twists, but it, yeah, really destroyed. But
I'm hoping it's just inside the oil pan.
and what? I hope not. The deterioration. So this is what you're looking for. You want to wipe down the inside of the timing cover and where the crankshaft is, and you want to see. My flashlight keeps going up, but see that oil's nice and pretty and good and clean inside. And there you go. There's the inside of my engine. This is a part where us mechanics are like very, very intimate, right? Very, very intimate. So what we're gonna do is we've wiped this up, and we're gonna press in the new seal, and then reverse the stages. But we're gonna show you how to do the 60-degree angle torsion, to the best of our ability. But yeah, this is excellent, awesome. Anything was. See. Not bad, huh? That look like a piece of something?
Yeah.
Okay. He's gonna get the piece of something out of the crankshaft, and we're gonna get the other seal put in. Okay, guys, we had already taken the seal out, which should show how bad that was. We picked it out. So with this car, you use this and the pusher out of that kit, as shown in the beginning of the video, and then you make sure that the seal is clean, and you also want to make sure that it's flush with the timing cover right in here. So this has got to be flush, and you can see real up and close. Get that cord out of the way. That's me. I have the cord in the way. That it's flush. The seal is flush with this groove here, right here, and it's really all you do is you use the crankshaft bolt to press it back in, and it's not hard. And you don't put anything on the seal. Make sure the seal's dry. Make sure the inside of that time cover is dry, and then you just take this out. That's that, and there you go. Your new seal on your n62 is beautifully installed. Nice and easy. It's actually really easy to slide them in. It's not that bad. It's taking the dampers off is a nightmare. Yeah. So what you do next is you put the damper back on, and we're gonna go ahead and install it. I believe you basically line it up. We had made marks where we had lined when we held the crankshaft, so that's where we're going to line the damper, and then we're going to use, what are you going to do, beat it on?
You can use the bolt to put it on.
Oh, use the bolt.
bolt,
That's right, use the crankshaft bolt to put the damper on and align, and just make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, guys, we're back, and we used the timing tool to screw, and the crankshaft bolt to screw in the damper, and what do you want to call it? Oh, so we got it back flush, and we've already did the first torque, which is 100 Newton meters, which doesn't seem like a lot. So this car, the n62, it requires 3
additional 60 degrees.
Yes, 3 additional 60 degrees. So you're going to put the pointer on the socket of your torque wrench. Well, I need to move. Right. On this, and then you're going to put the socket on the crankshaft, of course. And you'll make sure your pointer's set at 0. That thing's sitting in there, right? Oh, it locks down. Cool. Okay. And then you're going to, and once it's already been torqued to 100, well, you're going to hear the click for the 100 already, and then you're going to go that 60 degree. See, my hand's in the way. That 60 degree. Oh, sorry, Tommy. Here, where do you need me to be? Watch you do this crazy shit. Oh, come on, muscles. Oh. Go back to 0. That's what I would do. I wouldn't try to continue to move on.
We were also told by a BMW guy that we don't have to do the full 60 degrees
on each repetition. So just to go as far as you can. This is not I'm in the way. So it keeps kicking because it's well at 100 Newton meters in the 60 degree torsion. But if you can get it to go another and I'm in the way, I'm trying to be in Tommy's way, but we're trying to position this where we're doing it what we're told to do. Go as far as you can, and then that's it, man. That's like almost 60 degrees. There's 30, buddy. You moving the engine, though? You want to try one more time at 0 and see if you hit 30? Or are you good? Almost there, buddy.
Don't go anymore.
That's good. Then it's done. It's done. We found out from BMW that their torque specifications are very fucking
ridiculous.
They're ridiculous. I mean, it's 406 Newton meters for the rear axles on a rear-wheel drive, whether it's the turbo 335 or 535, or it's the V8 550 for rear axle nuts. Like, some of the torque specifications are really crazy, but that's good. That's done. Like that, and that's how you do. This is how you do the crankshaft seal, the radial, however you want to call it, crankshaft seal, radial seal. This is how you hold your crankshaft from moving while you change that seal out, and hold like if for timing and stuff too. But this is torqued. It ain't going anywhere. So what we're gonna do after this is end up putting the car back together from how we took it off. We end up taking these screws off. This bracket comes off back in its kit. You put the harmonic balancer back on.
Screw that back on.
Right, AC belt. The serpentine belt. I'm gonna put a new one on, even though the one that's on my car is not bad. I'm just not gonna deal with it. I want a new one. Put that all back together. Put the fan back in. So it's like the reverse processes. But one thing I wanted to tell you guys before we got off of this video. At the beginning of the video, I stated that you needed BMW flange maker and a primer. And I was referencing the N54 and N55 3 Series E90 cars. Like I think it's pretty much the same with the N52, which is a non-turbo 3 Series. Their front seal, radial seal, on those cars have 2 grooves that you literally have to form the gasket. It is not like this on this car. So I was wrong. I got mixed up on what car I was working on at that moment. So but it is kind of brain racking because you want to make sure you don't throw off your timing. And it's not easy to get that damper out. We really had to shake the car.
We know the motor of the car too.
Yeah.
Every motor is different.
So I will say this: make sure you have these timing tools. This is considered a timing tool, and they make them for N62s and N73s to do this that you can purchase. And make sure you have a puller. Seal puller.
Yeah, you're on the pricey side, but it pulls in on the pricey side.
Right, true. And you don't need the flange maker for this particular seal. Make sure the seal is clean. The inside of the timing cover is clean. Slide the new one in you can use the press in that comes with the universal kit. You use a universal kit, that works. This tool is definitely needed for this. Make sure you do to the best ability torque specifications when you put that bolt down. And you just tighten everything back up. Just do reverse processes of bringing everything back up. So to where it originally is. I'm still going to do an oil change and a new filter because it needs it. Do you want to add something? If you have any comments or questions, please leave it at the bottom of the video. I will tell you this is not related to the n62. This is why there's a tool for the n62. You have to remove that bolt for your crankshaft on the n62 engine. And it applies to like 04 to 2004 to 2010 chassis E60 engines N62. You have to use this tool to move that seal on the E90. And I have we have, you know, you've seen videos where we've worked on the E90, which is a 335i. It is a turbo. You cannot, and I mean never, ever, unless you're a certified master mechanic and you know everything about timing, touch the center bolt. Their design is completely different. I just want to make that apparent. I've heard too many horror stories that people have removed that bolt to change that front crankshaft seal. Yeah, and you destroy your whole entire timing. It's gone. You might as well put a new engine in. So, if you have any comments or questions, just let us know. Like I say, you just put the balancer back on, harmonic balancer, the new belt. Coolant fan goes in. You have the oil line over here. It goes in on the bottom. You have the oil line right here that goes back onto the top. And then you have the circuit. You have the two plastic covers that are sitting here that go on top of it. And it's pretty much self-explanatory from there. Thanks for watching. Take care. You good, Tommy? Good. All right. Thanks, guys.